All right. This is your Gaza War sit rep day 143. And I promise a short one today, and it will really be a short one today. I know people want to talk about Aaron Bushnell, RIP Aaron Bushnell. And I guess I wanted to say a few words for Aaron Bushnell. In case you don't know, and I doubt you'd be here if you didn't know, but maybe you don't know. But Aaron Bushnell was a Air Force, I believe, a pilot in the U.S. Air Force, and he self-immolated himself in front of the Israeli embassy of the United States in protest of the genocide in Gaza, and there are a couple of there are a couple of comparisons, but I guess I want to say his words. I want to let him speak for himself. There are times when people can't are not in a position to speak for themselves, and you know we have to speak for them. This is not one of those times. He live streamed what he was doing. He left posts and very clear statements. He said very notably, he made a post where he said, "Many of us like to ask ourselves, what would I do if I was alive during slavery or the Jim Crow South or apartheid? What would I do if my country was committing genocide? The answer is you're doing it right now." So I mean, that's as clear a statement of what was motivating him as possible. Um, he said also, compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine at the hands of the colonizers, this is not extreme at all. He started by saying, I'm about to engage in an extreme form of protest. But he said, this is what our ruling class has decided will be normal. So that's another thing that he said. And he said, I think something along the lines of stop the genocide, and I will not be complicit in genocide. And free Palestine. Those were, I believe, the last thing that he said was free Palestine. Um, yeah, I'm an active duty member of the U.S. Air Force, and I will no longer be complicit in genocide. Um, and you know, besides his words, and sort of repeating them and amplifying them as much as I can, uh, his words, his chance to explain why he did what he did and what it was about and what he was hoping to accomplish. Um, you know, there's a uh, couple of other people that I'd want to quote. Um, Ali Abunimah from the Electronic Intifada, he said, Aaron Bushnell gave his life so that America would hear his message and the genocide. He kept calling free Palestine through intense, horrifying pain. He gave his life so people in Gaza might live. There's no greater love than that. I feel sadness and awe for this human being. Um, yeah. Uh, you know, if you've been listening to the tanky therapy sessions, you understand like the nature of the feelings that anti-genocide people are going through. It's not uh we're watching a lot of people die. It's not such a it's not an impossible to understand the feeling that he's expressing is not hard to understand. It's the courage that is hard to understand, and that is the that is what I think differentiates somebody who takes an action like this from a normal person. It's courage. It's he didn't hurt anybody else. You know, in a country like the U.S. where the mass shooter, going to a school and shooting a school full of children is the way that people express their anguish and rage. uh Aaron, he immolated himself. He didn't hurt anybody else, and he did that to make a point, to say something about a genocide. And for people who are wondering, how uh how people are thinking about it, and how to think about it, in Yemen, where people have died trying to stop the genocide, people have been bombed by American planes for taking their actions, which also where they also didn't kill anybody. They were trying to stop shipping. It became a war where people started to die on both sides after the Americans started bombing Yemen. But where people have died, they are going to be carrying Aaron Bushnell's portrait at the next Palestine March on Friday. Spokesman who I've quoted before, Mohammed Al Bukhaiti, he made a statement on Twitter. He said today, the world lost Aaron Bushnell, a brave, noble, and conscientious human being, but his message reached and resonated around the world. Aaron proved that his conscience's ability to bear the scenes of dead and wounded Palestinian children was weaker than his ability to bear the pain of fire burning his body, so he continued to chant freedom for Palestine until the last moment of his life. Thank you, Aaron. Your message has awakened the global conscience, but we will continue to cry for you as we cry for the children of Palestine. So, from the Yemen perspective, people who are losing their lives and risking their lives to try to stop the genocide, they appreciate what Aaron has done. And similarly, in Palestine, various Palestinian resistance groups have also sent their condolences to the family of Aaron. And so it's yeah. The only other thing I wanted to say is, this is a channel, this is a playlist, a channel. These sit reps are military analysis, and Aaron Bushnell was a military person, and as a military person, your job involves risking your life. Militaries spend the lives of their soldiers in pursuit of their objectives, and he was clearly not a stranger to that idea. And like, people think that's true of all dangerous jobs, but it's not. There are dangerous jobs where people die, lots of working class jobs where people die in the process. They're very dangerous jobs, but the military is different. The military, you are there, you could be given an order. It's not an accident. You could be given an order it's not, you're not supposed to be given an order that where you're certain to lose your life, but you could be given an order where you have an extremely high chance of losing your life in pursuit of a military objective. And clearly Aaron Bushnell was trained, and he believed it. He was brought into that system of belief. And so from that military perspective, and again, I think we have to respect that. We have to understand that from the perspective of a military person deciding to make a sacrifice of your life for some objective, it's important to know what that objective is, especially since, like I keep saying, he did not do any harm to anybody but himself. This was not some kind of act like you see so often in the US, where they harm other people. And in that sense, too, so what he wanted, obviously, is he wanted people to be conscious of what's happening in Palestine, and the genocide and complicity in genocide, and he didn't want to be complicit in genocide anymore. And so he took this extreme form of protest, again, to use his words. People have been comparing him to another American martyr of Palestine, Rachel Corrie, who died in 2003 in March, around this time of year. She was in Rafah defending a house that was being bulldozed, and the bulldozer driver, the Israeli military bulldozer driver, drove right over her and killed her. And she was part of the International Solidarity Movement, which was a non-violent group of activists from all over the world who were trying to be in Palestine among Palestinians in the hope that having international witnesses would make their nonviolent actions more effective, make Palestinians' nonviolent actions more costly for the Israelis to suppress. And when Rachel Corrie was killed, it was a really big blow to international nonviolent activism, because it was clear that this was not going to be respected. Your international activists were welcome to be nonviolent, but Israel was going to murder them along with the Palestinians with no problem. And you may have even seen, you can expect something similar you've already probably seen the vile and disgusting posts by pro-Israel people about Aaron, and they have apparently pancake parties to make fun of the fact that Rachel Corrie was killed by a bulldozer. So if there's any doubt about what it is that Aaron and Rachel Corrie didn't want to be complicit in, you can just look at the reactions by the pro-Israel people to their deaths. Okay, that concludes what I wanted to say about Aaron. I know it's at times like these, everybody wants to get together and talk. You want to hear what other people have to say about it, and you want to know, you want to hear what people you identify with have to say. So I thought I would put something on the record quickly. I know in the comment section people have been saying Aaron Bushnell, and so I know it's on your minds, and so here we are. Now there are a couple of other updates, and I doubt Aaron would mind some military updates on the situation in Gaza. There was a bit of a farce in terms of Jordanian airdrop. The Jordanian Air Force is dropping food on people in Gaza, including dropping it directly into the sea. So that's always interesting in terms of the efficacy of these Israel permitted airdrops by the Jordanian Air Force. I think it's a joint operation with the British anyway. There was a post or not a post, but an interview by one of Lebanon's Hezbollah's anti-armor units, and they were talking about some of the other weapons that they use, and how the anti-tank missiles have been he says something like the star of the show, but there are other forms of ammunition that are coming online. As far as the Gaza front, again, another very, very big day in terms of numbers of attacks. Anti-personnel mine against 15 soldiers in a house in Khan Yunis, destroyed a Merkava tank with a Yasin 105 in Khan Yunis, targeted a force of 4 soldiers with an anti-personnel rocket in Khan Yunis, an ambush in central Gaza against near the University of Palestine, shelling invading forces in Al Zaytun in Gaza City, and shelling another gathering in Khan Yunis. And the shelling operations, I think I've mentioned before, the ability to the accuracy and the ability to target shells and mortars and rockets gets better over time the longer the war goes on. It's not something you practice in peacetime, and the crews get better and better. So it's the over time, the mortar attacks and the shellings, they get more and more deadly against the invaders. Al-Quds brigades, rocket barrage, sniper attacks, shelling, shooting down a drone, a quadcopter drone. Hezbollah also shot down a major drone, a Hermes drone, Hermes 450. That's another big drone. In Lebanon with a surface-to-air missile. But like Gaza City, Al Zaytun neighborhood, and Khan Yunis in central Gaza are both major fronts of major combat. And that's it. There are a couple of historical dives that I'm planning to do in the coming days, but I just wanted to do a quick reaction for Aaron Bushnell tonight. I will leave it there, and it'll be the first short sit rep in a long time. I will see you guys next sit rep, and RIP Aaron Bushnell. Take care, everybody.